Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Bell's Brewing Company out of Comstock, Michigan. This beer is part of a new series. It's called Leaves of Grass series. You probably can't see it. It's very, very small there. It says here, it's the first of 7 beers celebrating a literary classic and one of our favorites, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. It says, brewed this season, this IPA is made with 100% German malt and hops, putting a European twist on an American classic style. And this is, so I guess it just says here, it just says German inspired American IPA. It is 6.5 ABV. I wasn't sure what glass to drink this with. I had a feeling that this was going to be kind of in the realm of like a dry hop Pilsner, if it's all German malt and especially German hops. So I figured that would be most appropriate, but we'll see. This is pretty new. This just came into distribution here a week or two ago, so I have not had this yet. I haven't read anything about it, so I'm actually pretty excited for it because I'm always Bell's was basically the company that sucked me into craft beer. So anytime they do something new, I always get it. Sometimes sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's just decent. It's never bad. But I always give them a shot because they definitely deserve it. They're, for a bigger brewery, they're still very good. But as you can see, this pours a cloudy, I would say translucent, because you can see light through it a little bit. You can see my fingers, but it is somewhat cloudy. With slightly less than, or like cloudy golden color with slightly less than a finger's worth of nice frothy white head. It's not going anywhere at all. So I do get like a little bit of a German hop character, like noble hops, but it's not. But the malt base is definitely like a little more on the more caramely side. It's not quite as like crackery and crisp as you might get from a Pilsner. But the hops are definitely not like American, like citrusy or juicy or dank, character. That's interesting. That really is definitely a hybrid of sorts. The body definitely drinks like an IPA. It's not super thick, but it's definitely not light as a Pilsner by any means. It has a good amount of bitterness, where I would say it's even more bitter than some dry hop Pilsners. But it's definitely not like super bitter like some other East Coast but non-New England style IPAs are. But it does have definitely the noble hop character, a little bit of like caramely malt. I almost get a little bit of a skunky character to it too, but it's very, very small in the back end. It's something sometimes you get from noble hops, even if they're not necessarily light struck. I took this bottle home directly from the bottle shop, so unless it got jacked up there, I don't think it's necessarily because it was overly light struck. But who knows how it was handled before and at the bottle shop? I can't be certain of that, of course. But that amount is very, very minimal. I think it actually works in this. Some German Pilsners have a little bit of that character too, so to me it just falls in that range. The second sip was, I would say, even more enjoyable than the first because I got some more of the, I feel like more of the malt character. I said before it's more on the noble side, which it is, but like the earthy and hops. But it does have a little bit of like a nice orangey Sorry, there's a fly on my glass. A nice orangey character to it too. I wonder if maybe to try to get that like an additional hop flavor. There's probably Mandarina Bavaria in this too. I would guess, which would give it the orange character, but it would still be a German hop. Like I said, it does have a little bit of a caramel malt backbone, but it still is pretty light. The body's kind of heavier, but as far as the flavor, it's not like it's pretty light and dry. It finishes very, very dry. It's like it feels hefty when you first sip it, but then when you swallow, it's like it's just almost like you sucked on a grapefruit peel. It doesn't have a grapefruit flavor, but just like that dryness, that mouth puckering bitterness, it just completely dries your mouth out. And that's really what this is doing, and it makes you, there's something to be said for that because it makes you want to go back and drink more. Yeah, this is nice. I will say now that I'm drinking it more and I'm getting accustomed to maybe the hop and the malt flavors, I actually am getting a little bit of like an alcohol character too, which is interesting because it's only 6.5. But maybe it's because the beer is so dry. There's not like a ton of malt to cover it up, but the hops are fairly subdued too. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, it is almost coming off to me as like an Imperial Pilsner, if that's technically a thing. If you took, it reminds me of Victory Prima Pils, but not quite as clean. If you kind of, that on steroids, you beefed it up like 2%. It's kind of, or 1.5 to 2%. That's really what this reminds me of. So on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm gonna give this one a buy. I could see occasions where if I wanted to drink something with, a really nice, dry, hoppy beer, like a lot of times you don't get any, it's hard to find a dry, hoppy beer that isn't also like juicy and resinous, but also isn't overly bitter, but is bigger than like a Pilsner. And if you want something like that, I would recommend this. This isn't something that I would drink all day, but I could see in certain scenarios wanting something like this. It is, it's funny because it's like really refreshing when you drink it, and then it just completely dries your mouth out, which, in my opinion, a good Pilsner does too. So I do think this is a unique beer. I like it. I'm glad that I bought it and gave it a shot, and I'll definitely, if they see through with this whole series and they do 6 more, I'll definitely try all the other ones and be interested. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.